Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be talking all about TikTok. Specifically, how to get your gaming content onto TikTok. Now, we've been looking into a ton of cool resources on this topic, especially one episode of the SocialWick podcast. It's got some really great advice, and we're here to break it all down and help you figure out what's going to work best for you.
Yeah, what's so cool is that TikTok isn't just for like dance challenges anymore. Gaming is really blowing up on the platform.
Hmm.
And the SocialWick people made a really interesting point about like why that is.
Yeah, I was surprised too. They said that TikTok short videos are like a perfect match for gaming content. Think about it. You pull off some insane clutch play in your favorite game, boom, you can share that moment with millions of people in just seconds.
Exactly. It's all about those like little bite-sized bits of awesomeness, like quick tutorials, showing off some hidden mechanic in a game, or those hilarious fails we all have, even just highlighting like really cool character designs. It's all about grabbing attention fast.
Okay, so we know TikTok can work for gaming content, but before we start filming, we need to talk about the gear. It's like building a house. You need a solid foundation first, right?
Oh, absolutely. And in this case, your foundation is a powerful gaming rig or a console that can handle recording high-quality footage, smooth gameplay, crisp visuals, a lag-free experience. That's what viewers expect these days. You don't want to lose someone because your stream is all choppy.
Totally. And for the console gamers out there, don't forget about the capture card. Now, this might sound a little intimidating if you're new to all this, but basically a capture card is like a translator between your console and your computer. It lets you record your gameplay directly to your computer so you can edit it later.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the bridge that allows you to share your console victories with the world. And not just any bridge. You want one that's sturdy and reliable. So make sure you do your research and find one that fits your setup and your budget.
And of course, we can't forget about the face cam. Adding that personal touch can make a huge difference. I mean, just imagine you becoming the next huge gaming personality, all thanks to that little camera capturing your reactions.
Totally. It really allows viewers to connect with you. Like it humanizes the experience, makes it feel more interactive and engaging.
But all this amazing gear is useless without a stable internet connection. Remember that time my stream crashed in the middle of a boss fight? Because my internet went out. It was a total disaster.
Oh, we've all been there. A stable connection is like the unsung hero of any streaming setup. It's like the electricity powering your entire operation. Without it, you're just setting yourself up for frustration and lost viewers.
For sure. Okay, so we've got our awesome gaming setup, a rock-solid internet connection. We're ready to hit record. Now what?
Now we got to talk about software. There are so many options out there. The SocialWick podcast mentioned a few popular choices, like OBS Studio, Streamlabs, even some consoles have built-in tools. They all have their strengths. So let's take a closer look.
Okay. OBS Studio seems to be a fan favorite. And I have to say, I'm pretty intrigued by the fact that it's free. Is there a catch?
Not really. OBS Studio is an awesome option, especially for beginners, because it's open source. And it offers a ton of customization options without, breaking the bank. You can really fine-tune it to fit your needs.
Okay, cool. So let's say we've got OBS Studio up and running, but what about all the technical stuff like resolution and frame rate? These settings always confuse me.
I get it. Those settings can be a little overwhelming, but they're really important for how your content looks and feels. For example, if you're streaming like a fast-paced shooter game, you'll want a higher frame rate for smoother action. But for a story-driven RPG, you might prioritize resolution for those stunning visuals.
So it's all about matching the settings to the game and the experience you want to create for your viewers.
Exactly. It's about understanding your audience
Uh-huh.
and tailoring your content to what they like. Do
Yeah.
they want that cinematic feel? Or are they all about the, crisp, fast-paced action?
And don't forget about overlays and graphics. I love how some streamers have those cool logos and social media handles, even fun animations popping up on their streams. It just adds that extra layer of polish.
Yeah, overlays and graphics are like the spices in your content recipe. They enhance the visual appeal and make it feel more professional. Imagine a subtle animation that highlights a headshot or a stylish transition between scenes.
Well, that's a great idea. But I also know that too many overlays can be distracting. It's all about finding the right balance, right?
For sure. The goal is to enhance your content, not overwhelm it. Think of it like adding subtle accents. Rather than covering everything in glitter, you want your gameplay to shine through.
Okay. So we've captured some awesome gameplay footage, but it's still raw. How do we turn this into a TikTok masterpiece?
That's where the magic of editing comes in. It's like taking a raw diamond and polishing it into a sparkling gem.
Right. The SocialWick podcast mentioned a few editing programs like Adobe Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro, but those can be pretty pricey, right?
Yeah, they're kind of the industry standard. But there are also some amazing free options out there, like DaVinci Resolve. It's incredibly powerful and perfect for beginners and pros alike. You don't need to spend a fortune to create high-quality edits.
That's good to know. But there's one big difference between editing for like YouTube and editing for TikTok. It's that vertical format, right? It feels like a whole different beast.
It is, but it's also a fun challenge. You have to think creatively about how to showcase your gameplay within that vertical frame.
So instead of just cropping the video, we need to use things like zooms and clever transitions, eye-catching text to make the most of that vertical space.
Exactly. You can highlight key moments, add visual cues, even create like a unique aesthetic that makes your content instantly recognizable.
All right, so we've recorded, we've edited. Now it's time to go live on TikTok. I have to admit, the thought of streaming live makes me a little nervous. Is it as complicated as it seems?
Not at all. The SocialWick podcast made it seem a lot less scary. It's honestly more straightforward than you might think, especially with tools like OBS Studio and Streamlabs. They kind of act as a bridge between your gaming setup and TikTok. They make the technical side super easy.
So it's like having a control center for your stream. You can switch between scenes, interact with your audience, manage everything from one place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of audience interaction, this is where things get really fun. Have you ever watched those streamers who are like amazing at engaging with their viewers? They answer questions, respond to comments, give real-time tips, all while they're playing. It's like they're building a community right there on the spot.
I love that. It's so different from just uploading a pre-recorded video. There's like a real sense of connection and energy when you're live.
Totally. It's all about creating a shared experience, a place where viewers feel like they're a part of something special. But to make all this magic happen, there's one crucial thing you need to do before you go live.
Oh, I'm all ears. Tell me more. What do we need to do?
So before you hit that Go Live button, just double check that your TikTok account meets the requirements for live streaming. Usually it involves having like a certain number of followers and consistent engagement on your videos. It's kind of like TikTok's way of saying, hey, you've built a bit of a community here. Now you can take it to the next level with live content.
Makes sense. You wouldn't want to start a party with no guests, right?
Exactly. And speaking of building a successful TikTok presence, the SocialWick podcast had some great advice on like long-term strategy. They talked about 4 key elements: consistency, staying updated, collaboration, and analytics.
Ooh, those sound juicy. Let's break those down. First up, consistency. What do they have to say about that?
Well, they emphasized how crucial it is to have a regular streaming schedule. It's all about building anticipation and letting your audience know when to expect you. Think of it like a weekly gaming session with your friends. You all know when to show up, and the excitement builds throughout the week.
Right. It's like having a primetime slot for your content. Your viewers know when to tune in, and you create that sense of routine and reliability. That's super smart. What about staying updated?
That's a big one. The TikTok landscape is constantly evolving, with new trends, new features, new updates popping up all the time. Imagine sticking to the same old strategies. While everyone else is using the latest tools and tricks, you'd get left behind pretty quickly.
It's like playing a game that's constantly getting new expansions and patches. You got to level up your knowledge and skills to stay competitive. So how can we keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening in the TikTok world?
The SocialWick folks suggested a few things. First, make sure you're keeping your software up to date. OBS Studio, your editing programs, all that good stuff. New features are always being added, and those updates can make a big difference in the quality and efficiency of your workflow.
Good reminder. I know I've been putting off some updates myself, but besides software, what else should we be paying attention to?
Keep an eye on like emerging trends and challenges. What's hot right now in the gaming community? What kind of videos are going viral? TikTok's algorithm loves fresh, relevant content. So the more you can tap into those trends, the more likely your videos are to be seen by a wider audience.
It's all about staying ahead of the curve and adapting to the ever-changing world of TikTok. Okay, I'm taking notes. What about collaboration? I've seen a lot of gamers teaming up on TikTok. Is that something we should consider?
Absolutely. Collaboration is a fantastic way to expand your reach and connect with new audiences. Imagine partnering with another streamer who plays a different genre of games, or even a TikTok influencer who loves gaming. You can cross-promote each other's content, create fun challenges together, introduce your unique styles to a whole new group of viewers.
It's like forming a super group of awesome gaming content. You combine your strengths, share your audiences, and create something bigger and better than you could on your own. I love that. Okay, what was the last key element? Analytics, right?
Yes. TikTok's analytics tools are your secret weapon for understanding your audience and fine-tuning your content strategy. They can tell you things like what kind of videos are performing well, who's watching, when they're watching, and so much more. It's like having a backstage pass to the inner workings of TikTok's algorithm.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. So instead of just guessing what works, we can use actual data to guide our decisions. It's like having a GPS for TikTok success.
Exactly. Analytics can tell you things like what time of day your videos get the most views, what hashtags are driving traffic, even what type of content resonates most with your audience. It's all about using that information to make smarter choices and create content that people actually want to see.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here, from the technical stuff like gear and software to the strategic elements of building a following and engaging with your audience. It's like we've assembled the ultimate TikTok gaming toolkit. But as we were digging into all this information, something really struck me.
Yeah, look, you're about to drop some wisdom on us. What's got you thinking?
Well, we've talked a lot about the how-to of TikTok gaming, but I think there's something even more fundamental that we need to address.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's all about you, your unique gaming style, your personality, what makes you stand out in the vast sea of gaming content. Because honestly, there are millions of people streaming and creating videos, but no one else can bring your unique perspective to the table.
You're so right. It's like we've provided all the ingredients and tools for a delicious meal. But it's that special spice, that unique flavor that you bring, that will truly make it unforgettable.
Exactly. Think about the big-name streamers and YouTubers you admire. They all have a distinct style, a personality that shines through in everything they do. It's not just about the games they play, it's about how they play them, the stories they tell, the connections they make with their audience.
And that's not something you can manufacture or force. It comes from a place of genuine passion, a love for gaming that permeates everything you do.
So as we move into the final part of this deep dive, I want you to think about this. What makes you unique as a gamer?
What are those little quirks, those hilarious moments, those insightful observations that only you can bring to the table?
Because embracing your individuality, that's the key to truly unlocking your potential as a TikTok gaming star.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into TikTok gaming. And I'm really excited to dig a little deeper into what we were just talking about, that special something, that unique flavor that you bring to the table as a gamer.
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in all the technical stuff, the algorithms and all that. But at the end of the day, what really connects with people is authenticity. You know, that genuine passion and personality that shines through.
So let's brainstorm a little bit. What are some ways you can infuse your personality into your content? Maybe you have a signature catchphrase or a hilarious way of reacting to those unexpected in-game moments.
Yeah, or maybe you're a master storyteller, weaving narratives into your gameplay, keeping people on the edge of their seats. Or maybe you have a knack for creating unique character builds, or finding those hidden Easter eggs that nobody else has discovered. Oh, I remember watching this one streamer. She would always come up with these ridiculous challenges for herself in games. It was like watching a hilarious improv show, and her viewers absolutely loved it.
Exactly. It's all about finding those elements that make you stand out. You know, those little quirks that make people go, whoa, I've never seen anyone play like that before.
And it doesn't have to be something big and flashy. Sometimes it's the subtle things that make a difference, like the way you commentate, the music you choose, even the way you design your overlays.
Yeah, it's all about creating a cohesive brand, a visual and stylistic identity that just screams you. Think about it like this. If your TikTok channel was a store, what kind of vibe would it have? What would draw people in and make them want to stay?
Oh, I love that analogy. Would it be like a cozy, welcoming space where people feel like they're hanging out with a friend? Or would it be like a high-energy, action-packed arcade where the excitement never stops?
And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different things. See what resonates with your audience. And don't be afraid to evolve and adapt as you go. The beauty of TikTok is that it's constantly changing. So you have the freedom to play around and find what works best for you.
That's such an important point. It's easy to get caught up in comparisons, looking at what other creators are doing and feeling like you have to fit into some kind of mold. But honestly, the most successful creators are the ones who embrace their individuality and let their unique voices shine through.
Totally. Think about it. If everyone was trying to be the same, TikTok would be a pretty boring place. It's the diversity of voices and perspectives and styles that makes it so engaging and exciting.
For sure. So as you embark on your TikTok gaming journey, remember this. You have something special to offer. Don't try to be someone you're not. Embrace what makes you unique. Have fun with it. And let your passion shine through.
Yeah, because that's the real secret to success on TikTok, or anywhere, really. It's about being genuine, connecting with people on a human level, and sharing something that comes from the heart.
Well said. As we wrap up this epic deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought. You have the power to create something truly special on TikTok. You have the knowledge, the tools, and most importantly, the passion to make it happen.
So go out there, embrace your unique gaming style, and let the world see what you're made of. We're cheering you on every step of the way.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. And remember, game on.